Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? When I was a kid, when we had macaroni and cheese, you either had homemade macaroni and cheese or you had the Kraft Blue Box macaroni and cheese. That was it. Nowadays, there's 13 different types of Kraft Blue Box macaroni and cheese to choose from. If that's not confusing enough, there's also 13 different kinds of microwavable Kraft macaroni and cheese. And we can't forget about the other 9 deluxe macaroni and cheeses. Why do we need so many different types of macaroni and cheese? This makes me very happy that I grew up in simpler times. You put macaroni and cheese on your grocery list, you go to the store, you pick up a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese, and you'd go home. Nowadays, when you put Kraft macaroni and cheese on your shopping list, you better be proficient with the Dewey Decimal System to find the one you're looking for. The same thing with Cheetos. Back when I was a kid, you put them on your shopping list, you go to the store, you buy a bag of Cheetos, and you leave. Now when you put Cheetos on your grocery list, you have to pick between 5 flavors of crunchy Cheetos, 4 flavors of Cheeto Puffs, 3 flavors of Cheetos Popcorn, 2 flavors of Cheetos Fantastics, 3 flavors of Simply Cheetos, and 4 flavors of Baked Cheetos. To add to the confusion, there's 3 different flavors of Cheetos mac and cheese, which is what today's video is about. Kraft macaroni and cheese really had nothing to do with the video, I was just using it as an example. So today, we're trying the microwavable bowl of Cheetos Bold and Cheesy Mac and Cheese, Cheetos Cheesy Jalapeno Mac and Cheese, and Cheetos Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheese. Each 2.32 ounce bowl costs 96 cents each. So let's go over the Cheetos Bold and Cheesy Mac and Cheese first. Say hello to Chester Cheetah's newest masterpiece, Cheetos Mac and Cheese, now available in a convenient, quick-cook cup. Bold, creamy, and full of Cheetos flavor. This is the perfect alternative to everyday mac and cheese. Add water, cook for 3 minutes, and boom! You're ready to dig in. Also available in a classic mac and cheese box. Here's the list of ingredients for your reference. The serving size is the whole cup, which has 240 calories, 5 grams of total fat, 1.5 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat, less than 5 milligrams of cholesterol, 690 milligrams of sodium, 43 grams of carbohydrates, 2 grams of fiber, no sugars, and 7 grams of protein. Now let's get the lid off. The cheese packet out, and then add water to the fill line. And then it goes into the microwave for 3 minutes. While the bold and cheesy Cheetos mac and cheese is heating up, let's go over the Cheetos Cheesy Jalapeno Mac and Cheese. Introducing Cheesy Jalapeno Cheetos Mac and Cheese, Chester Cheetah's new twist on everyday mac and cheese that's creamy, outrageously cheesy, and just the right amount of heat. Just add water, microwave for 3 minutes, and bon appetitos! You've got yourself a 5-star mac, according to Chester. Also available in a classic mac and cheese box. Here's the list of ingredients for your reference. The serving size is the whole cup, which has 230 calories, 4.5 grams of total fat, 1.5 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat, less than 5 milligrams of cholesterol, 630 milligrams of sodium, 42 grams of carbohydrates, 2 grams of fiber, 3 grams of sugars, and 7 grams of protein. The heating instructions are the same. Remove the lid, remove the cheese packet, add water to the fill line, and microwave for 3 minutes. Now let's go over the Cheetos Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheese, which is the one I wasn't really looking forward to trying. I've tried the Flamin' Hot Cheetos before, and to me, they were very spicy. But like I've said before, I'm not a real big fan of spicy food. Introducing new Flamin' Hot Cheetos Mac and Cheese Cups. The hottest thing since, well, Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Add water, cook for 3 minutes, and then dig into the hot flavors of our new creamy, melty mac for comfort that's oh so easy to love. Also available in a classic mac and cheese box. Here's the list of ingredients for your reference. The serving size is the whole cup, which has 210 calories, 3.5 grams of total fat, 1 gram of saturated fat, no trans fat, no cholesterol, 620 milligrams of sodium, 41 grams of carbohydrates, 2 grams of fiber, 2 grams of sugars, and 6 grams of protein. I'm not going to continue to bore you with the heating instructions. They're exactly the same as the first two. After microwaving on high uncovered for 3 minutes, it's time to add our bold and cheesy mix to our pasta. And then give it all a good mix until the seasoning packet and the pasta and the water are well combined. And to me, it looked and smelled pretty good. What say you, the people? So we went in and got a big old spoonful. And of course we had to blow on it a few times to cool it off. It was like lava. So into the old pie hole and down the gullet it went. And to be honest, I was a little disappointed. It was pretty darn bland. I mean, it basically tastes like generic mac and cheese to me. I don't really get a whole lot of Cheeto flavor. Mrs. Wolfpit and I had one more bite each, and we came to the same conclusion. The noodles are cooked pretty good. The sauce has a good consistency and it's creamy. It's just bland. And neither one of us could really taste the Cheeto flavor, and it's just very unimpressive. So I'm going to give the Cheetos Bold and Cheesy Mac and Cheese a below average score of 4 out of 10. After microwaving on high for 3 minutes uncovered, it's time to add the cheese mix to the Cheetos Cheesy Jalapeno Mac and Cheese. Give it a real good mix, get everything thoroughly incorporated. And as you can tell, Mrs. Wolfpit was having a hard time holding this as it was so hot. So I cracked that whip and I told her to stop crying and stir harder, and that there was plenty of time for her to tend to her burns after the video is done. Once everything was thoroughly combined, we got a big spoonful of the Cheetos Cheesy Jalapeno Mac and Cheese. And just like the first one, it doesn't look bad. But just like the first one, it looked better than it tasted. Again, the flavor was bland, other than the jalapenos. The jalapenos did add a decent flavor, but again, there was no Cheeto flavor. The sauce again had a good consistency and was creamy. It was just lacking the flavor. So I'm giving Cheetos Cheesy Jalapeno Mac and Cheese an average score of 5 out of 10. Finally, it was time to add the Flamin' Hot cheese sauce. And then give it a good mix. And this color doesn't even look natural. It looks like the color they put in pickled eggs and pickled pig's feet. But it's definitely the same color they put on the Cheetos, so maybe that's a good sign. As we dip the spoon in, I couldn't help to think that we're scooping out Swedish fish. So you know the deal, into the pie hole and down the gullet it went. And there was certainly nothing flaming hot about this. It wasn't even smoldering hot. And that's coming from someone who can't handle spicy foods. But just like the first two, the consistency of the sauce was great. And it was creamy, but it wasn't cheesy. and the noodles were cooked perfectly, but it was bland, even with the additional spice, which is why I'm going to give Cheetos Flamin' Hot Mac and Cheese an average score of 5 out of 10. All 3 of the Cheetos mac and cheese were edible. They weren't really horrible, and I could see why kids would love to eat them, because they're kind of neat. But if you want to eat something with a good flavor, this is not that. But let's see what happens when we combine all 3 together. It might taste the same, it might taste worse, or it could taste better. Once all the macaroni and cheese is in the bowl, give it a good mix. As Mrs. Wolfpit was mixing this, I said, "This looks familiar." And I kept looking at it, and I was like, "That looks like Fruity Pebbles. Maybe we'll luck out and it'll taste like Fruity Pebbles." So I ate a big spoonful, and so did Mrs. Wolfpit. And we both looked at each other and said, "This is better when they're all mixed together than they are individually." So I think we're onto something here. We did the same thing with the sriracha ramen, but they were good individually too. So I guess now Cheetos has to come out with a Wolf Pit blend Cheetos mac and cheese. And we want the credit. Are you listening, Chester? Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.